Hi, I'm Carrie, and this is On the Psychology of Military Incompetence by Norman Dixon, written back in 1976. I read it quite a long time ago. It's a witty, clever, insightful book that is actually more relevant today than it was written nigh on 50 years ago. Why? Because in his analysis of the military mind, it is also an analysis of the right-wing mind of the variety seen in people like Trump and Nigel Farage in England and Marine Le Pen in France and so on and so on. The first half of the book, he examines a series of military conflicts in which commanders snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, largely through their own psychological problems, because they generally they were inflexible and could not admit that their values, things that had sort of taken them to their positions of command, have turned out to be wrong. It was a case of too much damage to their ego and their self-esteem if they changed course. So they just plowed ahead and sank without a trace. The second half of the book, Dixon, who was a very eminent psychologist, did serve in the military for 10 years, also had a doctorate in philosophy, examines what are the flaws in these kinds of minds, which are also the right-wing minds, that make them so attracted to essentially authoritarianism. In fact, he has a chapter entitled Authoritarianism in relation to this. What makes fascism so appealing? And to boil it down quite a bit, is that these people suffer from grave self-esteem issues usually. Things in their background. They perceive themselves as they're not being manly enough. We're talking entirely about male commanders, not being having questions about their sexuality, their own intelligence, popularity, the lack of being loved in their lives. They have enormous holes in their spirit, in their psychological makeup, that can only be satisfied by an embrace of fascist ideology. And this gives them, by aligning themselves with something they perceive to be strong, hyper-masculine, it fills gaps in their own ego. Now, I've probably done a terrible job of explaining it all, but it is essential reading, really, if you want to get an idea of why some people are attracted to the far right of things, even the center right, because it's more than just a case, obviously, of people weighing the pros and cons of various economic policies or social welfare policies and deciding, oh, well, this person is, or this party is the one for me on the right-hand side of the spectrum. There are psychological issues involved, just as there are psychological issues in any choice we make, from our spouse to the sports team we cheer for and favorite books, movies, and so on and so forth. Except our choices in terms of politics can be far more dramatically impactful. So certainly, if you want to understand the psychology of people who are quite happy to vote for Trump, or to work for Trump, or to be Trump, this is a book to seek out. I don't know how easy it'll be to seek out. It's been out of print for quite a while, unless I haven't dug deep enough and it's available again. But it's probably kicking around in some libraries, and of course, secondhand on the various websites. So check it out, please. And check this out, my book, The Skeleton Palms, noir thriller set in California and Nevada. And please like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks. See you next time.